There. Obviously you can see what we have here. This is the old licensed Floyd Rose bridge, the original one that came with the Ibanez. It's in, see here, the Ibanez low TRS Trem 2, old mother, and it is very dirty. I mean, that's one thing about these things, they're to really keep cleaned, especially deep down in here. I did thought about totally replacing this with a actual Floyd Rose Pro, or even just the best ones that you can get, which those ones are about $350. But of course, as these builds I like to do is how to, you know, get the most bang for your buck. So what the hell, instead of just spending that much money on a bridge, why don't we just take the original one, because I'm trying to also keep much original parts and whatever I can on the guitar as well as giving a new life. It's just because after, if you just replace totally everything, it's not really it anymore. So we're just gonna go and we're gonna actually upgrade this. But this one had some issues other than just being dirty. So we'll just start with the blocks. I actually thought that I lost this one and this nut, so I ended up ordering replacement blocks and basically replacement screws for right here. But since I found it, it's like, okay, I don't really need the blocks, but you know, I test fitted it anyways. See, the reason why I thought I lost it, because a couple times, you know, these little blocks, if you're not careful, they just fall out and just, there it goes. That's it. Which is why, like, I was actually surprised I still had it. I went ahead and test fit the Floyd Rose blocks, and it's a nice and snug fit where it just didn't fall out. Plus, on these ones, they're old and I've seen signs of corrosion. So what the hell? I got it. Let's put them in. So that's one thing we're going to do with this one. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to change the block out. What we're going to change it with is one of these brass fat blocks. Now, what I hear that they say about these fat brass blocks is that they improve tone and sustain. Well, I'm going to call bullshit on the tone part. If you want better tone, you change your fucking speakers out of your amp. Especially if you're high gain. You know, I don't think it's going to change your tone. But what I'm hoping it will do, even though as of right now, I don't really have a way to actually do a before and after test, is I'm hoping it'll actually, as what they say, give it better sustain. Even if it's just for a second more, heck, that's an improvement. So we're going to replace this block with this one, and most of all, the trem bar. Now, if any of you had any of these type of, like these licensed Floyd Rose trems, you know, a lot of times I hear a lot of guitar players had to modify them because it was just always like they don't stay. You know, you tighten the thing up as much as you can. Oh yeah, sure, it'll stay, but as soon as you yank on it, like, there it is. It's tight. It's nice and good. Do a little thing, and there you go. It's all winky dinky. It's all stupid. You know, some people do tricks like using plumber's tape on it, and you know, that's okay. But I think that's kind of ghetto and just dumb. So we're going to replace this out. And also the reason why we're going to replace this out, this is broken. I broke it like literally not long after when I first bought this guitar. It was just cheap made. So what we have here, this is what I heard, did my research, is if you get the actual one from Schaller, you know, you spend the $20 on it, it is a perfect fit. It stays in place. German made stuff. So I'm replacing it with the Schaller. So one of the things we're going to actually have to do is we're going to have to tear this puppy down. So to get to the block, obviously we have to take off, you know, all this crap. And as soon as we take off all this crap, you know, its original intonation is done. So what I'm going to try and do to make my life easier putting it back together, I mean, obviously I'm going to have to do re-intonation anyways. It's been so long. But what I'm going to need to do is actually try to put these back in about as close as exactly the same place as possible. So there's a few ways I thought about, you know, how to actually, you know, get these back exactly where these little fuckers were. One of the things I've heard is that what I've seen is, you know, you can get like a piece of cardboard, you know, cut some paper strips to the width and just kind of like line them up to the edge, and you just basically make it a template of whatever it is, and you just screw it back in when you're done. The one thing I'm good at is I can read a fucking ruler. You know, I know how to use one of these things, okay? And this one's even goes up to 64 thousandths of an inch. So I can, you know, literally just, you know, put it like right there, see where it is at the edge, you know, make little notes, yada, 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 yeah. Or, you know, you can, you know, use one of these things. But where would you use it for? You would actually need to use it on this part on the back, which all this really does is, you know, you just bump it up to the edge and kind of, and get your, let me just, thing's kind of locked in. Bump it up to your edge and you get your measurement. This is digital and a lot more accurate, so I'm going to actually use this, but you know, you can do it whatever way you want. You want to use the little sticker template thing, fine, go ahead, you know, float your boat, whatever. If you know how to read a ruler and you got good eyesight, you know, just do that. But I'm just going to use one of these. And also keep a note, you have 2 sets of holes for each one. All it is dependent on where it's got to go. If it needs, if like, for say this one needs to go more forward, you put it into the next screw hole forward. Or if it needs to go far back, you go the one back. So what I need to do for me, for this one, is just, you know, make notes on where each saddle, where the screw is positioned at, either if it was close to the block or more away to the block, front of the bridge or whatever. And then just, I'm going to take my measurements and just, for each one, just make notes, and I'll just go back to it later when it comes to assembly. And of course, when this whole thing is all disassembled, I'm going to clean it up, you know, with a toothbrush and some other stuff. So I think it's time to, first thing we have to do is we got to take the damn notes before we take anything off. So we're going to start with step 1, and that is as far as note taking. So for me, sometimes what I like to do is get a piece of tape and, you know, put it somewhere, and I'll make like a note. So I'll say low E, L, low E, and get a note on which screw. I'll just say, if it's close to the saddle, I'll put like saddle. If it's close to the edge, I'll put edge. But this one is saddle, or I'll put sat. And you got to get a measurement. So we'll turn it on. Turn on mine's a digital one, so I'll turn it on. Let's see what it says for the low E. My low E is 2,085 thousandths of an inch. So I'll just make a note of that. So when I put it back together, I'll just mark it in the same spot. 20, 0.85. In other words, close to 1/4 of an inch. Okay, next one. It's also in the saddle position, which is the A string. Sat for saddle. Get a measurement. This one is, let me see, 0.18 of a thousandth. It's also close to less than 1/4 inch shy. A hair less, so you can do like a little minus, whatever. I like to say shy or light when you're like just under a specific easy to remember measurement. So the next one is the D saddle, but is it in the saddle? No, it's on the edge. So we'll put edge on my note. And where we at here? Yep. Again, smaller, which that's about almost a 1/16 of an inch. So let's see, 0.0515, roughly about a 1/16. Now the G, it's back in the saddle. Back in the saddle again. And we need the measurement. Okay. That is under 1/4 of an inch, but it's there. That's for the low G. 0.610. All this is just real, like I said, is to get me back into the ballpark when I put it back together. I'm going to have to do the terrible pain in the ass of intonation all over again. It's just what it is and what it is. Okay, so the B string, the high D, the one it is on the edge side. Where the screw is. And the measurement, that little mug is getting really small. Well, the next one's going to be tricky to figure out because it actually, the saddle hangs over the edge. So I have to make a little special note of that. And if you need to, always take a picture like with your cell phone too. So for the high E, the string is on the screw is on the edge. Now we're going over, so I'm just going to do the exact opposite. I'm going to basically turn it upside down. I don't know if you see. Hey, look, as I was saying, falls out. So yeah, that's kind of a good reason why I'm changing that crap. Okay, this measurement is actually, it's more like negative, so that'll just tell me, hey, you gotta do it the opposite way. Negative 0.355, and it looks to be about under a 1/16 overhang. 16 over. More notes you take, the better. That's all I say. So, I have my notes over here. Hard to see. I'll keep that there for the entire time. So, it's time to take this little beast apart. This is where the fun begins. So, move some of my, clear off a little bit of room. And I plan on taking everything apart just to make sure, because like I said, this thing is about 25 years old. So I want to make sure none of these is seized or anything. And I'm going to also add some that same 301 oil I used in the tuning keys, just to, you know, just to keep from any future corrosion and other gunk. Just keeping the, you know, the threads just, so I won't have problems later. This thing's already old, so that's just probably the best thing to do. So, but I am going to be replacing these little, but I will keep them though. It's always good to have extra parts. So unscrew all this and keep the blocks, because like I said, you know, you're working on your guitar and for some reason you flip it over and you forgot one was tight and that little block falls out, and if you got like dark color carpet or something, you're screwed. Boy, you actually, now it's starting to haunt me. It's like, you know, I remember kind of shit like that kind of happened, and I remember having a hell of a time going on my hands and knees and the little flashlight just trying to find that stupid piece of shit. I think this thing will be pretty bad at when it's done. And it's actually save a lot of money just, you know, just upgrading the thing. I mean, the block I think was like only $35. And the screws and the new blocks were about, I think 20 bucks altogether. And of course, another 20 for the new trim. So add that up compared to like, you know, just buy the actual Floyd Rose. I mean, I'm not knocking on the actual Floyd Rose. They're awesome. But if you're on a budget, what are you supposed to do? And look, the one that always wants to fall off falls out, but these other ones don't. Go figure. Let's see what I got laying around here. Just to help pull these little shit out. I know. I got something over here. Fine detail work, you need tweezers. Dude, what the hell? Why ain't you coming out? Might actually have to do it from the other side. Okay. I'll just leave them in here for now. So, oh, by the way, how to get this thing out for the trem bar, I kind of already pre-tested it. What it is, it's usually just a hex key underneath it. You undo it, and then you'll have the stud here. But this stud is kind of pressed in. But don't worry, just take a small little mallet or a small little hammer, just a couple light taps, and it will pop itself out. So don't worry about it. If you undo it and like, oh, it won't fall out because it's kind of pressed in there. Just hit the fuck out. Okay. So let's take this guy out. Now these screws I'm going to be using, so I want to keep these ones kind of nearby. Come on here. And then this thing won't come out. Look how filthy that is. And of course the block came out somewhere. Wait, no, this is the other one. My bad. So that. Guy is disgusting. Now let's see on why these ones actually won't slip out. That's weird. If there's a will, there's a way. I wonder, why are you coming out? Oh, there. Well, I see some action now. There we go. The inspection, I don't even see why it just didn't want to come out. But it's out. Just takes a little work. It will come out. God, this thing is like 25 years of fill. Like I said, this thing's to clean, so I'm gonna keep clean because heck, do you want to actually do all this work every time you want to clean it? It's like, no. Oh. Hello, gotta take the nut out. We don't need that no more. Just kind of getting ahead of myself again. Just persuasion. It's all it needs. I mean, really, look at all that shit. 25 years of garbage. I don't know, if you guys got Floyd Roses, yeah, you probably have the same dirt down in here too. I mean, like, really, who wants to actually go this far just to clean it? Probably because these things are getting corroded and it's just doesn't want to go in or it doesn't want to come out. It's just gunk and stuff. What? Oh, come on. So I decided to actually just use some basic, all-purpose cleaner. Nothing too fancy, just to get the dirt. So, and be using probably some type of leaf pipe cleaner thingies just to get into some grooves. This is like a kind of like for it's a little brush you get in the dental section of like Walmart or whatever. You use it for like braces or whatever. These fine little brushes. These things are great. I use them for my airbrush, but they're also great for other little small details. And of course the toothbrush to get in some other places. So right now, let's just start with this. Get a little action going. And paper towels just to wipe it down, wipe off crap. Clean it up real good. Dust, and of course, got to get in there. So, what I use a toothbrush for, just kind of scrub it all up. Also, use the toothbrush to kind of get in between these little areas. Work on one part at a time, really. Already better. Okay, let's set that one up. I can comb these. Just a little bit of gunk on one side. Like to just do the whole thing. Oh, rip some of it off. Probably a little overkill, maybe. I don't know. But this bridge has never been apart since the day I got the thing. I never took this thing apart, so probably was put together at the factory, and that was it. Okay, how about this little spacer? Clean everything. No second guess. Alright. Now this is going to be real fun. So I guess what I can do is just soak it all up. One. Butter. Weird thing is I just now kind of noticed 2 of these have, I don't know, these little plates on it while the rest don't. I have no idea what's the purpose. What's the purpose of that? I don't remember which ones they were on. But what is it? The other ones don't look like where they would be. Look like they would have had anything like it. Let's see if there's any evidence of those. No. My guess it's on the high and low E's. If any of you know, go ahead and put a comment in for anybody else, but for me, I'm just going to go ahead and build it. You know, I have this little saying, the day ain't wasted when you actually learn something new that day. So, and you guys tell me what the heck that little thing is. Hey, I didn't waste the day. I learned something. Okay. Sorry for that little cut right there. Battery in my camera got hot, so it shut itself off. Didn't really miss much. I just went ahead and just finished cleaning up all those. What you already saw me doing, I just did it with all of them. So, now we can actually kind of start putting this thing back together. So, of course, we need to start with the block, the new block here. And with these ones, they give you basic instructions where it's just a diagram of a typical Floyd Rose, even though this is a little bit different, but it's very closely the same, especially when it comes to the block. You know it's this, the spacer, and then the comb here. So, and of course, well, this one doesn't. This one really doesn't matter. Actually, it does matter. On the back here are the screws for the springs. You want to have this side towards, the front of the bridge, because that's where the springs are going to go. So you want to make sure that's in the right direction when you put it on. Then you need to leave it this way. No, it goes down. Look for that's a little signs of it was there before. Double check. Okay, so this has got to be pointed towards me. Probably easier to do if I just do it like this. Kind of just pre-put one of them in here. Yeah, way easier. Get started, good. And with the rest of the screws. Right, you little bastard. Line up. We're swinging, Captain, we're swinging. So you don't know where the fuck is going. Fiddle with it. There you go. Once you get 2 in, then the rest will line up. Fact that got a new part on here, already feels good. Torque it. good. I'm not trying to gorilla tighten it, but just where it's nice and snug. Yay. Definitely heavier. Okie dokie. So I kind of arranged these on where it needs to go back in the direction that it's supposed to be. So just to start off, I'll go ahead and just slip that in there and go back to my notes. The low E was at the saddle, the closest to the saddle. Actually, I forgot. I was gonna put a little bit of oil. I mean, literally just a butt hair of a drop. Nah, it's a bit too much, but I think right now I'm just gonna go ahead and get it somewhat just finger tight to where it just stays on. My tool. As you kind of turn it, it wants to push itself back. So on the next one, it's at the edge. A little oil there. Get this one screw just started. Slip this through. And I will be cleaning off the excess oil too, so don't worry. I'll do a little bit of that right now. Little paper towel action. Slip it through. And I'm not fully tying it, I'm just getting it to where there ain't really much play out of this, so I don't really, just so I can work with. Alright, the G is at the saddle position. Put oil in there. See, I should just be wiping as I go. The only reason why I'm oiling this thing is just to prevent future corrosion and these screws getting locked up if I need to do this. This is going to get done again in another 25 years. I doubt it. I wonder where this guitar will be in 25 years from now. Probably in the trash, who knows. Okay, this is on the last two is on the edge position, so I'll just let it pretty down both so it don't ruin it. So this one I need to tighten a little bit more still. I'll use it. One more. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and preset some of the new screws. I go back here because heck, they're new. Why not? Probably do the same thing. Oil up all that stuff too. The difference between the old ones and the new ones is really just the length. So we're going to put a tiny drop in each one of these. Just screw them until I see it. Just enough till I just see the tip of it. Yeah, this is a little tedious, but it's going to be worth it in the end. Like basically a whole new bridge. Wanna do Floyd Rose, semi-Floyd, two Floyd Roses. Yeah, we have these in. Now, put some new blocks in here. 6 new blocks. No corrosion. Yippee. Hopefully this thing don't go flying. Come on, let it. There you go. Now look, you got another one of these. Now if you look at these, there's like, you know, a little hole on there. That goes onto the screw side. And you also got to kind of pay attention on, is it up or down? I believe this would be up. So put it in. You see, I mean, like pushing them in is already kind of snug already. This one's being stubborn. Those I may actually have to tap in somehow. I may have to do that. I mean, I can also oil them up. That probably won't be a bad idea, really. Here. I mean, I don't think it's like really necessary to oil it, but just because these last two for the B and the high E is like really stiff. I mean, I remember pulling those ones out, the old ones, and obviously they were a pain. You get a little something for persuasion, a little mallet guy or something. You have to have a little punch too. Now this is like not typically normal, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. One thing I'm worried about is it going close to the string side. Just getting it to the edge. There we go. There we go. Alrighty. So we have that. So the only thing left is installing the new shower trim system. This one's similar. It takes a a small hex key in here. Unscrew this, take the whammy bar out, set that aside. Same thing, it's got the ribs for press fitting. So what I really need is just torque. That's all I really need. Some better torque. What size is this anyway? What size am I working with? Appears to be 3mm. We're gonna go out for a sec. Hold on. Sometimes you just gotta try harder. Don't succeed. There we go. Impact gun. Let's watch this thing in action. Oh, there we go. I should have done that in the first place. Huh. Get out of there. That's perfect. I should have did that. That was easy. Stuck it right in. We don't need that no more. Okay. So, we're basically rebuilt. So the only thing left to do is kind of get my intonation close to what it was. I can do that. I'm going to do that one off camera. It's just doing my measurement in reverse and tying it up. So after that, what else do we have next after this guy? Because we just did the keys and all this stuff. Oh yeah. We're going to go we're gonna go finish the body of the guitar up, and then we should be getting ready to put this bit together. So I guess that's the next thing. So that's the end of this video. Hopefully you learned something on how to do these bridges on your own. If not, then go through. I'm sure there's plenty of other videos out there. So see you in the next one.